For linear inequality, there are some uh, basic properties, right, which I will be explaining here. So property number one is, what about this one? 4 is greater than equals to 1. Is this correct or not? So there are two things here. One is greater than, second one is equal to. That's why it is called inequality, right? So this we will call as 4 is greater than 1. There are two things here, or 4 is equal to 1, right? So any one of them should be correct. Both cannot be correct together. Any one of them should be correct. Either 4 will be greater than 1 or it will be equals to 1. So as you know, 4 is not equals to 1, but it is greater than 1. So this inequality is correct. Similarly, if I am writing 4 is greater than equals to 4, right? 4 is greater than equals to 4. Here also 4 is not greater than 4, but it is equals to. So any one of them should be correct, right? So this one is also correct. This is property 1. Now property 2 is, in the property 2 we will discuss, if suppose there are two numbers where A is greater than B, right? If A is greater than B, then addition and subtraction by any number from both sides, it is allowed in inequality. So A plus anything means A is the same number, and A plus anything, if you are adding both sides, it will be valid and the inequality will be true, right? So adding any number both sides, it is allowed in inequality. Similarly, cancelling out any number if it is written with plus sign or minus sign, so cancelling is also allowed. Suppose the inequality is 4 is greater than 1, right? So in the same way, if I add any number both sides, same number both sides, like 4 plus 5 and here 1 plus 5, then inequality always will be true. So here again 9 will be greater than 6. This is also true and this was also true, right? So adding or subtracting any number in inequality is allowed, right? So now property number 2. So property number 2 is about multiplication. Suppose if A is greater than B, right? For A and A is greater than B, here multiplication by any number both sides, it is not allowed. In general, it is not allowed, but by restricting the inequality, we can multiply by that number. So if we know the sign of that number which we are multiplying both sides, then multiplication is allowed. Okay? Suppose for if A is greater than B, if I am multiplying by any number like K, and with B also I am multiplying by K. But if K is positive, K is greater than 0, then multiplication is allowed and inequality will remain same. A times K will be greater than B times K if K is a positive number. Then again, if K is a negative number, then A times K. Here we have to change the sign of inequality. Sign of inequality will be inverted. So here it will be less than or equals, less than A times K will be less than B times K, right? So multiplication only allowed if we know the sign of that number which we are multiplying both sides. Then only we can multiply both sides by that number. If we don't know the sign, then multiplication is not allowed in inequality both sides. Suppose for example, if we have 5 is greater than 4. So multiplying by both sides by any positive number, it is allowed. Suppose 5 into 10. 4 into 10, the inequality will remain true. As you know, right side is greater than left side. So by multiplying by any positive number, the inequality will be true. Sign of inequality will be same. Like 50 is again greater than 40. But in case of negative number, if I'm multiplying by both sides by negative 10 number, minus 10, here 4 times minus 10, then sign of inequality will become changed. Right? We have to change the sign of inequality. Previously it was greater than, now it will become, it is minus 50 and this is minus 40, and minus 50 is not greater than minus 40. It is less than. So sign of inequality will get changed. In case of if we are multiplying by any negative number, right? Again, if you are multiplying by any negative, any number whose sign is unknown at the time of multiplication, if you don't know the sign of that expression, because we will be multiplying by any equation, any expression. So if you don't know the exact sign of that expression as at the time of multiplication, then multiplication is not allowed, right? For example, suppose 5 is greater than 4. This is correct. But if you multiply both sides by x minus, multiplying by x minus 2 both sides. So if we multiply x minus 2, we will get 5 into x minus 2. Here 4 into x minus 2. So at the time of multiplication, what is the sign of x minus 2? Is it positive or negative? So again, sign of x minus 2 will depend upon values of x. If I take x equals to minus 5, then this expression will give minus 5 minus 2, that is equals to minus 7. So for x equals to minus 5, this expression is negative, right? Now again, if I take x equals to plus 5, so at the time of multiplication, if I put x equals to 5, then 5 minus 3 is 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3 is positive number and 7 is negative number. So while multiplying by x minus 2, we don't know exact sign of this x minus 2. It will depend upon values of x. That's why here multiplication by x minus 2 in this inequality, it is not allowed. Why? Because sign of x minus 2 is not fixed. It will depend upon values of x. If sign of any expression is not fixed, then we cannot multiply by that expression both sides, right? Multiplication is only allowed if you know the sign of that expression. If you don't know the sign, then multiplication is not allowed. Again, here, suppose if I write down greater than, or if we write down less than, so both things not allowed. This will be incorrect. Why? Because we don't know exact sign of this x minus 2. X minus 2 will be positive also, it will be negative also. So sign of x minus 2 is not fixed here. That's why multiplication is not allowed in inequality if you don't know the sign at the time of multiplication. Or also we can say if the sign of the expression is not fixed, then multiplication is not allowed. Suppose, let's see one more example. Suppose 5 is greater than 4. So if you multiply both sides by x square plus 5 into 5, or here 4 into x square plus 4. Now again, what is the sign of x square? Minus 5. Is it positive or negative, or it is both? It will depend upon values of x. Now let's see here. So x square plus 5. Sorry, here it is not 4, it is 5. Now if you see, x square is always a positive number. X square is either 0 or equals greater than 0 or equal to 0. And x square plus 5, it will be either greater than equals to 5 or equal to 5. So as you know, this quantity x square plus 5 is always positive number. It cannot be negative because square of any real number is a positive number. So positive number plus 5, again it will be positive number. So here, because this expression is always positive, so multiplication is allowed. If x, the sign of expression, if it depend on values of x, then we cannot multiply. Here if you take any value, either plus or minus, the sign of this x square plus 5, it will be always positive. Not sometime negative, sometime positive. It will be always positive. If it is always positive, then only multiplication is allowed, right? So again, now make a note here. In inequality, multiplication is not allowed, right? Both sides by a number or expression, right? If you don't know if the sign of that number is unknown. If sign is unknown, then multiplication is not valid. Right? Previously, I have taken two examples. Multiplication both sides only valid if the sign of the expression is fixed. Either it is always positive or always negative. Then we can multiply that expression both sides. But if sign is unknown, then we cannot multiply it both sides. Right? Next one. Next property. I think property 3. Property 2 and property 3. So property 3, suppose we have an equality. We have an inequality. A is greater than B. Right? If A is greater than B, then squaring both sides. Squaring both sides is only allowed if both numbers are positive and if both numbers are negative. If one is positive, one is negative, then no need to square. Right? So here if A is greater than B and A comma B both are positive numbers greater than 0, then it implies that A square also will be greater than B square. Right? Again, second one, if A and B both are negative, less than 0, and A is greater than B, then it implies that A square will be less than B square. Here you can see this is greater than B square, and here it is less than B square. Why? Because both numbers are positive in first condition, second condition, both numbers are negative. For example, suppose 5 is greater than 4. It implies that square of 5 also will be greater than square of 4. That is 25 is greater than 16. Right? But for the next example, if minus 4 is greater than minus 6, minus 5, sorry, minus. My voice is clear? Confirm my voice. Is it clear? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now up to here, any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Right? So here in property 3, squaring both sides only valid if both are negative or both are positive. If one side is positive, one side negative, then we don't require to square both sides. Okay, suppose, for example, if I'm writing here minus 5 is less than 4. So if anything is written like this one, so we don't need to square both sides. This will be either true, as you can see, this is always true. If any expression is written there, suppose mod of x is less than equals to minus 4. So modulus is always non-negative number. It cannot be negative, right? So as you can see, this is never true. Okay, so keep note up to here. Okay, rest property I will discuss in next class. Maybe some network issue is there. Network is not stable, right?
Okay, sir.
We will continue in the next class. Okay, we will continue till here. So after this, I will continue in the next class. Like property 4, I will discuss in the next class.
Sir, can you clear that one around?
What? Why is it
You
not
have
clear?
sent the questions.
Yeah, I will send more
That
questions.
okay. I will tell.
Okay.
Yesterday you have sent a pic, no, sir. In that 37th question,
Question number 2.
how would you solve that, sir? Do you use log in that? Okay,
Hello.
okay. Thank you.
Question number 37. Okay, I will send solution for 37. Okay. Am I audible?
Sir,
I will
Yes, sir.
I will send the solution for question number 37. Okay, my data is
37.
data is exhausted. Okay, I will send
Where
solution.
have you sent, sir? No, I didn't got that one, sir.
37.
37th question, sir.
37th, I will send WhatsApp group. I will send that solution.
Yesterday's question. Do you use log in that, sir?
Question number 37.
Yeah, yesterday's question. You have sent
Yeah,
it
37. I will send.
below the PDF wavy curve method.
Yeah. That solution for question number 37, I will send you solution.
Okay. Have you used log method, sir, in that? Like taking log on both sides.
There is
Have
a
you used
property.
that
There is
method?
a property x plus 1 upon x raised to x. Okay. That property also I will mention there. Okay.
Uh,
I will send the solution.
okay, sir.
Okay. Bye bye.